Hello everyone, my name is Ashley and today I'm going to tell you a bit about a Famille Noire dish that's in the Percival David collection at the British Museum. First, I'm going to give a brief overview of the object. The piece we're looking at is a gilded Famille Noire lobed dish with Daoist imagery. Famille Noire is a form of a Chinese porcelain technique called wucai. The dish is from the early Kangxi era, a period that was very transformative for wucai technology. Famille Noire is a Qing period type of wucai ware, which means that it is double-fired and has overglazed polychrome enamels. On the base of the dish, there is an archaistic rain mark dating it to the Changhua period of the Ming dynasty. The dish was most likely used for display, and the reason we know this is because although it's shaped like dining ware, wucai wares from this period were typically too fragile for everyday use. But first, let's look at the Kangxi Reign. In power for 61 years, the Kangxi Emperor was the Qing dynasty's longest reigning ruler, and, in a lot of ways, contemporary historians consider him to be Imperial China's most important and productive one. And just to put that into perspective, 61 years was a very long time back then, considering that the average life expectancy was far shorter. Kangxi's court created a substantial demand for porcelain, and imperial support at Jingdezhen helped facilitate this. The Kangxi Emperor also preferred vibrant decorations on imperial wares, resulting in newly diversified palettes for wucai decorations. The primary technique we're looking at here is wucai. Meaning 5 colors, wucai was first developed during the Ming period, but continued to evolve throughout the Qing dynasty. In order to create wucai porcelain, an object was first glazed and high-fired, then decorated with enamels before being refired at a lower temperature. The Qing dynasty brought many changes to wucai technology and practices, improving porcelain transparency, durability, and thinness. During the Ming period, the norm was to use underglazed blue to outline decorative figures, but this trend transformed during the Qing dynasty. This lobed dish is important because it's one of the first examples of Qing wucai ware to exclude underglazed blue in favor of overglazed enamels for the outlining. It is also an early example of gilding on a wucai dish, which occurred from the 17th century. During the Qing dynasty, Jingdezhen artisans would have referred to this dish as a yingcai ware, meaning hard colors, referring to the improved technology of the polychrome enamels. However, today, Qing wucai wares are often referred to by their dominant palette. 19th century French author Albert Jacquemart first introduced Western nomenclature that categorized yingcai by color, a trend that has since stuck. This dish, as you can see from the predominance of black and the colors it's grouped with, is Famille Noire. Occasionally, it's called Famille Verte, though. This dish isn't always named consistently, as Famille Noire is sometimes defined as a subgroup of Famille Verte. Now, I'll talk a bit about the visual characteristics of the lobed dish. There is a lot of symbolic imagery, so I will point out the most common motifs that you can find on other similar pieces. This dish is a very classic example of Daoist decoration that demonstrates auspiciousness and longevity. From the Ming dynasty, auspicious symbols became increasingly common on porcelain. The main scene on this dish shows 3 Daoist stellar deities who represent financial reward, happiness, and longevity. The figures are admiring a young boy. Young boys were common auspicious symbols on porcelain from the Sung dynasty, as families often preferred sons. To their right, a spotted deer looks on while a crane flies overhead. Both animals symbolize longevity in Daoist imagery. This prominence is reinforced by their placement on the 8 panels surrounding the main scene. The fact that 8 panels are used specifically is significant, as 8 is an auspicious Daoist number that alludes to the 8 immortals, central Daoist figures who appear on porcelain frequently from the Yuan dynasty. On the bottom of the dish is an archaistic rain mark dating it to the Changhua period of the Ming dynasty, one of the most referenced reigns in archaistic marks. The purpose of such rain marks was not to forge, but rather to celebrate and revive China's long artistic heritage. Despite the dating of the rain mark, the techniques of this dish are markedly Qing, meaning that imperial audiences of the time would have easily been able to differentiate it from a Ming wucai dish. To summarize, this dish is representative of imperial wucai porcelain during the Kangxi Reign. Notable features include its gilding and favor of overglazed enamels instead of underglazed blue. Its Daoist imagery of prosperity and longevity, and its repeated use of the number 8 reveal the popularity of Daoist porcelain during this time period. Certain auspicious traits to look out for include spotted deer, cranes, the 3 stellar deities, and Zhu Yi heads. The dish's archaistic Chonghua rain mark pays homage to the artistic traditions of the Ming dynasty, while its modern technology and decorations distinguish it as a Qing period piece to the informed viewer. Lastly, here's some further reading if you're interested. Because this dish belongs to the Percival David collection at the British Museum, there's a lot of literature available on it. Thank you so much for listening, and if you have any requests for topics in future videos, please let me know in the comments.